Speaking of shit that should never have been resurrected, House 2, the second story. Isn't that a clever play on words?
Damn, because it's a house.
Yep. And you know what? This movie also takes place in a house, but
Is this house haunted?
has nothing to do with the first movie. Well, that's not true because the guy does inherit a house. See, he was just a little baby, Tom. I don't know
Or
what.
as your people would say, Babine.
At first, I thought they were selling the baby and they were taking off with it. I couldn't understand what the fuck was going on, but I guess they were having a babysitter come and take the baby away to sit him at her house, his house. I don't know, but anyway, while that's going on, his parents are killed by a Scooby Doo fucking ghost that pops up. He's in old West gear and he just shoots the parents.
It's the Texas Haunters Convention logo.
There you go. So he kills the parents and then I don't know, the kid's been an orphan forever and inherits the house later on in life when he's like 23 maybe. He's just been in an orphanage and hey, you know what? Fuck you. Get out of here. You got a house. All right, cool. So him and his partying buddy go to check out this house, Tom. And while he's at the house, he starts to see whole family photos. It's like, oh wow, this was my grandfather. Oh wow, this was my great grandfather. He was an archaeologist guy that found a crystal skull. I think I'll dig up his body and see if that crystal skull is still there. And yep, I mean it was there at that time, but now it's at Tom's house. But they dig him up, and I was like, oh, that skull's been keeping him alive, and he's an old-timey guy and just going to hang out with him. So they throw a Halloween party. And, there's a guy there in a Frankenstein costume. That's pretty cool. But the old zombie, Old West archaeological guy, he gets up there and starts dancing, and it's fucking stupid. And
you forgot the part to say, all right, well, he read this stuff about how this crystal skull will bring eternal life and that his great-great-grandfather was buried with it. So what do? Pack their shovels and head to the cemetery and dig up the great-great-grandfather. And so they dig him up. He's still alive, wearing a mask. He's a mask enthusiast. If you're a mask enthusiast, DWNProductions.net. And, that was one of the things that always bothered me about this movie is this fucking guy being buried wearing this mask, even though he's like all old and emaciated, looking like a zombie. It's like putting a fucking hat on a hat. Why I know it's to scare people away so they're not fucking gonna steal your shit or whatever. But I mean, you're all fucked up looking, you're zombified and shit. And there's a part in the movie too. Oh, I didn't know that I look like this. Oh, really? You never like touched your hands or touched your face? Like, oh shit, this doesn't feel right. I must be a fucking mummy guy now. So that shit always like, could have used a little better writing, but this is House 2. So
it is.
So they dig him up. They say, oh, we're fucking relatives and shit. Come on, let's go to your house now. I guess I didn't inherit shit, you son of a bitch. And they get back there and fucking dude's friend or whatever invited a bunch of people over for a party because he's a no good piece of shit. And he just thinks he can invite everybody in the block over to a house that isn't fucking his. So, Joe, that's where you left off.
All right. So in the meantime, this guy, they were both there with their girlfriends, and one's like a singer or something. And the other guy's girlfriend, she works for a record company. So her boss shows up, and he's a record executive, and he's played by Bill Maher, who just seems like a fucking prick, like in real life. in this role. It's probably why he's good at this role.
Some people would say smug cuntish.
Right, just somebody you want to punch in the face. If we did a list of punch,
Honorable mentions.
yeah, he'd definitely be on that. But he didn't come to mind at the time. But so that causes complications because this guy's ex-girlfriend is at the party too, and like, oh, what's going on here? Doesn't matter because Sting shows up, or is it the Ultimate Warrior?
I would say maybe the Barbarian. Definitely not Sting.
Okay, shows up and wants the crystal skull, and easy enough to get because they just put it on the fucking mantle, fireplace. Don't have it any place secure, just right there where this guy can go grab it and take it back into time, because the house, Tom, is a fucking time warp. You can go through this room and all of a sudden you're in the Neolithic age or prehistoric.
Oh, wait, so it's not haunted?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't fucking know. It's a weird ass movie. So they got to go get the skull, Tom. They can't let Grandpa just die like that. So they go back, and there's some stop motion dinosaurs walking around, kind of like that movie 64 you just watched. There's some other dinosaur puppet birds, around there getting the skull.
They call them puppetdactyls.
Yeah, puppetdactyls. And it's silly as shit. And just fucking, god damn. What, man. I loved this movie when I was 8, But right now, this sucks. They get it back, but you know what? That puppetdactyl comes back with them, Tom. And they got to contend with that going around the house.
Because they need this little cute creature in this child's adventure movie.
Yeah, they make a puppy caterpillar shows up too.
A puppa-pillar.
And they got to hide it. They got to hide it, from everybody else.
He shoves it right up his asshole. Because it looks like a string of fucking ass beads.
But anyway,
with a little puppy face.
The important thing is, Tom, they got the skull back. So what do you do with it? Let's put it back on the mantle, on the fireplace, or maybe
no super glue or anything.
Some Aztecs can come and get it and take it back to their temple. They do. They take it back to their temple.
They didn't know that those people stole.
And they don't know what to do, so they call an electrician to come, and the electrician is played by another guy,
old Cliff from Cheers.
Cliff from Cheers, continuing this tradition. So there is yet another connection to the first movie, with the Cheers connection, we'll call it, and he's just a bumbling, idiotic fucking electrician that you would have kicked out.
I wouldn't say that. I would say he knows what he's doing, been in the business for 20 years. He's seen everything and knows no nonsense.
You can learn it.
He's the exact opposite of bumbling Joe.
Yeah.
He's a master electrician and amateur adventurer.
And he is an adventurer. He helps them out to fight the Aztecs, to swashbuckle, Tom, and save the human sacrifice virgin that they got there. And they get the
old Gertrude.
They get the skull back, bring back the virgin with too, why not? And go ahead and put that skull back on the mantle where anybody could get it. Like, say, that ghost fucking cowboy that was at the beginning of the movie that finally shows up again, Tom. And how are you going to beat him? Well, you got to learn how to gunsling, son.
And unfortunately, he doesn't get shot a couple times.
Yeah.
So then he just says, fuck it, and gets the shotgun.
It's a shotgun. Or, fuck it, I'm going to call the police because they shoot everything. And that's what the police do, just start shooting up the house like police do. And they say, well, fuck it, the cops are after us now. Let's use this time warp and go back and live in the Old West. So does this guy become his great-grandfather? And the other guy becomes the fucking mean ghost? I'm trying to figure that out. Did they get in a big time loop here at the end, Tom?
Yeah. Nobody said it was well written, Joe.
Yeah, this movie's stupid. It's fucking dumb.
Yeah, this is a very weird toned movie. It definitely feels like an edgier kids movie, but it definitely feels like some weird child's adventure movie. Uh I mean, if you could take that fucking lady at the beginning, I guess the friend's girlfriend with her hard nips,
Yeah.
if you just take her out of there, then this is pretty much a kids movie. I always thought this movie was just okay. I think it's a little less okay this time I watched it, but the makeups and monsters in here are really fucking cool. The first time you see the great great grandpa and his makeup with the fucking cool greenish purplish pale colors in the makeup, that looks really fucking cool. The creatures look really fucking cool. Granted, they're more on the cute side, but they still look cool and they're well made. Like all the monster and creature shit and the makeup, that's pretty good. The rest, if you're a child, you'll love it. I can see if you saw this when you were a child, it would stick with you and you'd love this shit and you'll have the nostalgia and all that for it. But
Oh, that bird
again,
wouldn't let go of that skull. Man, that was great.
Papadactyl.
Mhm.
But yeah, watching it in my teens, it's just like, oh yeah, it was all right. Monster stuff was cool, but it is what it is. I definitely like the first one better. This one, don't know if I'll have any reason to ever go back and rewatch this one, unless maybe my niece say, "Oh yeah, this might be something. You're of age that you might appreciate this," but other than that, I don't think so, Doc. It's not saying it's bad. It's just me being an adult man now. It's just not really. It's a fucking kids' adventure movie. The fuck else can I say? Fucking pricks.
It is.
But you'd recommend it.
I would not.
Okay.
I'll never watch this again. Yeah. Even if, if I have, like, say my grandson, I'm like, he might dig this. Here, I'm going to put this on for you and I'm going to go to the other room. Enjoy.
Don't drown.
Yeah.
Show him the first one first so he knows the dangers of
Right.
being left alone.
Yeah, you can be with a demon for days, weeks, years, who knows?
Mm-hmm. Mm-mm-mm.